We're going to give this POV camera another try because I need to clean up these San Marzanos. You can see, like this one, we've got some of this going on, plus it's just too thick, and so I need to prune it out. And I wanted to talk too, so I figured maybe I could do both. The problem I'm finding at this moment is that this is a little low, like it's not actually giving you what I'm seeing, like an actual point of view. It's giving you like the point of view of my lower neck. So I don't know. See, if it were like that, it would work better, but maybe the weight. Hold, please. I feel like this is supposed to, hang on. Okay. Then the problem with the way it is right now is I think you're getting this, which is what I want, but I can't see the screen because it's pulled so far back towards me. So we're going to go with this. I'm just going to talk. We're just going to see what happens. But this area right now is in the shade. I got a slow start this morning. It's Saturday morning. So I'm going to start here before I subject myself to the direct sunlight. And I just got to clean this up. And this takes some time. And every time I do it, I do a little bit and then I get like tired of it. And so, but these San Marzanos are crazy. They're growing like crazy. And then we had some wind kind of come and push them. So I need to get some of this extra stuff out so I can see where I can prop these better. Again, I say it like every time I talk about these tomatoes, but we really know for sure that next year, you'll see next spring, I'm determined to get a real trellising system up when the tomatoes go in, because this has been a little bit of a challenge. See, like everything's just growing everywhere. Like this one is falling down, but it's got tomatoes on it, so I don't want to lose it. Same thing here, falling down, but it's got a tomato on it, and I don't want to lose it. Now I could, like with this one, I could go ahead and just chop it and take that tomato and let it ripen inside, but we're going to see. I'm going to clear out what I can easily here, and then we'll go back and see what we're going to do. Now, the reason why I wanted to do the POV is because I just kind of wanted to be able to talk. I just wanted to be able to ramble a little bit and talk about some things that have been going on. You know, Scratching the Dirt is intended to be not just about the gardening and the chickens. It's also meant to be about growth, personal growth. And I have been in a weird place with that lately. I have been in a funk, like massive funk, to the point where last night, usually on Friday nights, Jose and I will check in with each other and see what's going on for the weekend. If there's anything, you know, he will do things to help out his parents, and I will do things to help out my dad. And you know, sometimes we see the kids, and you know, we just check in and see what's going on, because I feel like the weeks are so full of work things, and then just the small bit of upkeep we can do outside in the evenings, because right now it's still like 95 degrees at 6 p.m. So anyways, we were checking in, and he was like, well, what were you going to do in the morning? And I was like, I don't know. I have no plan. it was the weirdest thing because I always have something that I'm like, okay, Saturday morning, I'm going to knock that out. There's always something in my brain specific that I want to get to. Even if it's just, you know, a vague, I need to get in the chicken coop, or I need to make sure that I get those plants planted, or I get those seeds started, or whatever. There's always a vague something. And last night I literally was like, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. So to me, that's a good indicator that all is not well with me, that my brain is not functioning the way it normally does, that I'm struggling in general. And I know I've been struggling. I can tell just by the way my days are going and how I've been feeling. And I have been aware of that. But so I want to talk about it because this is something that I feel has kind of plagued me my entire life. I wasn't aware of it until I was an adult. When I was a kid, I was very much just, you know, doing whatever. But the older I get, the more interested I become in this question of why am I the way that I am. And I have, over the years, kind of attached my brain to different reasons. Everything from I test as an INFJ personality to I have ADD. I definitely don't have ADHD. There's no hyperactivity in me whatsoever. But there is definite attention issues, to autism because of my ability to obsess and singularly focus on things and foods and on all kinds of stuff. So I've just run the gamut of things that I have decided might be wrong with me, but I have no idea. And then I have the moments where I think, yeah, it's just like, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just, okay, it's who you are. And that's where I usually land. However, I struggle because I need a name to call it, right? Like I need an explanation. I am a why person. So all the time, and this is one of my struggles I have when at work, when I do a job, when I was a teacher and now in my current job, and even when I was a bartender, like, why do we do it that way? Why are we changing this policy? Why are we doing it like this? It's not that I'm afraid of change as much as I'm afraid of changing or implementing without smarts behind it. If there's not a reason, you can't point me to a reason for why things are the way they are, or why things are going to become the way they're going to become, then I have a really hard time getting behind that change or that process. So the same thing applies when I start thinking about myself, when I start thinking about my behavior, my emotions, my choices, all of those things. So for a long time, and I also have the added benefit of kind of having been two different people in my adult life. I had a brain tumor. I had a 6-centimeter brain tumor in my frontal lobe that was removed in 2012. And through that process of having that craniotomy and talking to the neurosurgeon, he told me, and my mom, thank goodness my mom was in the room, that there was a good chance that, number one, I'd had the tumor my entire life. It was a meningioma. It was a slow grower. I was 36 at the time. Yeah, 36. I'd probably been having this tumor my entire life. And B, it probably severely affected my judgment the bigger it got, right? Like as it took up more and more of the space that was supposed to be my frontal lobe, that there's a good chance I was looking at poor judgment, and that would be the cause of that. And that felt very vindicating, right? Because I had always really wondered why I did the stupid things I did. And then, so there's that. And then I have found over the last over 13 years now since that tumor has been removed that I'm just a different person. There's some parts of me that are the same, but in a lot of things, I look back at my choices and my behaviors, even the way I felt about things is very different now than it was prior to the tumor being removed. So now I'm really kind of dumbfounded by why I am the way that I am, because I've only actually been this person for over 13 years. So it's almost like I'm a fresh teenager in this personality that I am right now. And I really, really want to know why. Like, why do I do this? Why do I feel this? Why do I react this way to this situation? And so I've found that I tend to more often than not lean towards the idea that that I'm somewhere on the autism spectrum. Now, listen, I am not a doctor. I am literally just like you, where I see stuff and I research it, if you do, because I'm a nerd and I like to research things. And I just kind of put together what I can find available in the just public literature, the things that are available to everybody. And then I try to synthesize that and make it make sense. So I know fully that there is a wide spectrum as far as autism is concerned. I also know fully that there are lots of things that are associated with autism that I do not exhibit, I do not show. So I don't know. It's literally me just trying to make sense of why I am the way that I am. So, but this funk that I've been in, I've probably talked about it before, but 2024 was a hell of a year. It was a bitch. It was a horrible year, and all I wanted to do was get to 2025. And 2025 started out wonderfully. Like, I was focused. I was feeling good. I was making changes. I wasn't coming home from work every day wanting to just sit and veg until bedtime and then get up and do it all over again. Like, I was doing great. And I've had a couple of moments throughout the year where I've kind of backslid a little, but this recent one, the one that I'm currently in, has been the longest lasting and just the worst. Like, I have struggled mightily in the last probably 3 weeks. I don't want to get out here and do garden stuff, or I don't know what to do. All of a sudden, I'm an idiot and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do when I have a garden, or I don't have the energy, or I don't want to film anything for this project that I'm excited about this project still. I've been excited about it, but when I think about doing stuff for YouTube, then I become an idiot again. I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do. I don't even know, because I don't know what I need to do in the garden. Like, it's just this vicious cycle. So I've been in this pattern of struggle recently, and I will not bash here publicly my job or my organization or anything like that. I will tell you that being less than 100% happy at my job is a big part of it. Again, one of the things that makes me kind of lean towards something like an autism is the fact that if I'm into something, if it's something I like or something I want to do, I am in it, and I can sit or stand or do for 15 hours and you're not even going to catch me stopping to eat. Like, that flow, man, I can get some stuff done when I'm in there. And one of my biggest problems in my current position is that I don't have anything challenging enough, like cognitively challenging enough, to get me into that state. And so I flounder, and I often don't know what I'm doing. Like, of course, when you're teaching, you walk in the door in the morning and you've already pre-planned, on Sunday night before you go to bed, what Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are going to look like generally. Obviously, things change because, that's the nature of education, but you have an idea. I find that in my current job, like, I never know. I never know what I'm going to be doing. I have responsibilities. I have things I have to take care of. None of them are challenging. Therefore, none of them are something I want to do. So I struggle daily. And that kind of struggle and that constant, what am I even here for? That sense of futility, it is the worst possible thing for someone like me. For me to not be engaged in my work it's such a waste of me and my skills and my talents and my intelligence and all of those things. And it drives me crazy and it wears me down big time. Like, I feel awful just every day coming home from work going, did I accomplish anything? Do I have anything to be proud of? Nope. Because I got stuck in the mire of being bored or being, frustrated or whatever it is. And so therefore I feel useless. And there's not much worse for me than to feel useless. I raised my children, my 4 boys, as a single parent. They were, 4, how old were they? 4, 3, 3, and 2 when their dad and I divorced. Let me stop this here actually and come back to this. So my boys were 4, 3, 3, and 2 when their dad and I divorced. And obviously, when you're a single parent, now, to be clear, their dad did not disappear. Their dad saw them all the time. Like, it wasn't like I was one of those mothers that had to do 24/7, 365. He saw them on the weekends. So I didn't. I don't want it to seem like I did everything all by myself. I also had help from my parents, but I was a single mom. I mean, I raised them and they needed me. And I feel like I did a really good job with my kids. They're wonderful young men now. I feel like I did the very best that I could. Mothering was the most important thing to me. It's one of the reasons why I was single for 10 years was because I did not date. I very much told myself, you don't need a man. You've got 4 men to worry about right now. You've got enough. And so I did. I focused on those boys. It was hard. We didn't have money. When I divorced their dad, I did not have a college degree, and I went back to school and I got a bachelor's degree, and then I got a master's degree. And then in the middle of my master's degree, I had a brain tumor and had to have a craniotomy. Like, I did, man. I consider myself back then a very impressive person. I did a lot, and I'm proud of what I've come through and the job I did with my children. But now that they're older and they're all in college, it's almost as if I don't know who I am, right? And if you're a mother, you're probably shaking your head going, yep, you put so much of everything you are into your children. And then when they go out on their own and you've done your job properly and they don't really need you anymore on a regular basis, you're just like, okay, what do I do now? And I find myself being that way. I think that's why I was so adamant about getting chickens, because I needed something to care for. I think that's why I think I was always meant to be this outdoors, gardening, home, domestic, whatever it is, this life I'm trying to build now, whatever this is, I think I was always meant for this. This is where I actually find, the joy in my life. These things are the things when I walk in soaking wet with sweat and exhausted and nearly dehydrated, there's a feeling of accomplishment that I feel that I don't get anywhere else in my life. And so I think that's why I stay drawn to this. I think that's why I still, even when I don't know what I'm going to do, I walk out here and go, well, let's go find something. Let's go figure it out, because I need that. I call it therapy. It's like a therapy for me. So this is, my thing. Like, for so long, I was just a mom. I was also a mom and a teacher, but that was what paid the bills. I love teaching. I love education. What I have found, though, is that I don't love all the things that come with teaching young people. I think my lane when it comes to teaching is older people, adults, and fighting the battle of public education, where the kids are being forced to be there and they don't value the education. They don't want to be there. They don't want to listen to you. They want to look at TikTok or whatever it is, and make sure they're keeping their snap streaks alive, and all of that. That was a hard thing for me to battle. And so when I left teaching, I said, I'm never coming back to this again. I'm not doing public education again. And I moved into some different things that I've done since then. And, I just struggle because outside of my job, I have this. I have, of course, I work on my relationship with my husband. It's not like my kids are gone. It's just they're in college. They're busy. I'm busy with the things that I've chosen to do with my time. And so it's just not a 24/7 thing anymore. And so I struggle with that. I struggle for finding purpose and accomplishment and something that I can do that I can be proud of. And when I get in one of these funks, like I have been in lately, and I don't know the cause, like I don't know what set it off, I don't know why it keeps going. When I get here, I feel like the most useless human being on the planet. And then I start to hate myself. And then I start to talk to myself ugly. And then I start to feel pointless and useless. And of course, what does that do? That makes it worse. That makes the funk go worse and deeper and longer. And that's where I've been. It's the reason why I've missed posts that, I said I was going to post every single Sunday, and that hasn't happened. And pretty much the reason for every skip is a funk. Sometimes it's a mini funk. Sometimes this one, I'm 3 weeks into this one now, and it's not an excuse. I'm literally trying to figure it out. But if you're listening to this, I don't know and that's the thing too. I'm like, do other people go through this? Do other people experience this the way I experience it? Do other people have different kinds of funks where their behavior is different than my behavior when they're in a funk? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I struggle with, I commute to work. So I'm in the car for a little more than an hour every day. And I use that time to listen to like self-help books, right? Like in 2024, I listened to fiction and I would listen to stories. In 2025, I shifted that to, we're going to, like I said, 2025 is going to be better. So I shifted that to self-help, nonfiction. So I spend an hour a day, with the exception of the days where I just need silence. I spend an hour a day listening to things that are meant to build me up, to get my brain in the right place, to get my spirit in the right place. And even with that, I just, I struggle. I just struggle and struggle and struggle. And I know I'm not the only person who struggles, because there's all these people, there's the people that I've listened to. There's people I really like. I really like Simon Sinek. I really like Brene Brown. I used to really like Mel Robbins before I think she got a little too obnoxious for me. I couldn't take it anymore. I like Lewis Howes. Like there's people out there that I like to listen to, but sometimes I listen and they'll be explaining, an issue, and they'll be explaining a solution, and it's like bits and pieces of it fit me, but not the whole thing. And then I feel like, well, how do I apply that to my life? And then I do the thing where I think I'm smarter than other people, and I try to like change it, right? Like if there's I don't know if you've ever bought a book that comes with a workbook, and the workbook gives you activities to do, like write down this, write down that, make a list of this. And I find that I will excuse myself from actually doing the work that the researcher says you should do, and trying to tailor it to myself, when really just follow directions, Nikki. Like, I don't see, and why, and then I go, well, why do I do this? Why don't I just do it the way it's supposed to be? But I gotta think that comes back to why. If I look at something, I go, why am I making this list? Why, I don't wait for it to all come out in the wash at the end. I want to know from the get-go, am I spending my time wisely? And you know what the answer ends up being every time? No, because you didn't do it the way you were supposed to do it, and therefore it didn't work the way it was supposed to work, and you have wasted your time. If you would have just listened to begin with and done what you were supposed to do or asked to do, all would be well. You would be at the end of the process. You would have the answer you're looking for, or the answer it was designed to get you, or whatever. And it's this never ending thing with me. And I frustrate myself to no end. And I'm still trying, like I just keep trying. I am, one of my big struggles that I'm having right now is that I've always been a journaler, right? Like I've always kept a journal, and it has always helped me without fail. A journal helps me 100% of the time. Even if it's literally treating it like a 12-year-old girl's diary and being like, here's what happened today, it still helps me, because it makes me process like whatever happened or whatever's going on or however I feel about it. And in the past couple of years, I've really struggled with journaling, literally struggled, physically struggled with journaling, because my hand hurts so bad. I can write about 3 sentences before my hand is just dying. And I don't know why. No one can explain it to me. But after the brain surgery, I started having trouble with my right hand, and it has never gone away. No amount of exercising or practicing writing, like it is a thing. And so now when I try to journal, it's like my hand, number one, can't keep up with my thoughts anymore because my hand hurts so bad. And number two, it just hurts so bad that I don't get nearly enough done. I can journal for like 4 minutes, and then I got to stop. And what's the point in that? Like I haven't gotten into the meat of anything I'm trying to write down. So I have this week, no, the last 2 weeks, I have switched over to journaling on the laptop, right? Which I have a problem with, because I'm a paper person. No matter how technologically advanced we get, I still want paper. But I can't do that. So I'm moving over to, typing, it definitely is much faster. You definitely get your thoughts out more quickly. Again, my brain still works faster than I can type, but it just doesn't feel the same. But that's okay. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to see what I can do with it, what it can come of it. And, you know, honestly, I can't think of another solution. I mean, this right now is actually another solution, just sitting here and rambling and talking about all these things. But, you know, I don't want to just constantly be talking into the phone. So journaling, I'm working on it. But what I have found is that so far, all I've done is complain about my job. So I know that the number one issue right now in my life is my job. But I also know that I'm not in a position where I can leave my job for multiple reasons. One, the salary. Two, the benefits. Like we're kind of in a rebuild after going into some debt, and now's not the time to make a smaller salary just so I can be happy. Just hilarious, because how many of the people that I listen to and I watch their YouTube videos and stuff say, if you're in a toxic job, or if it really resonates you with that you are physically miserable, then quit your job. And I'm always like, no, because I have bills to pay. And, you know, that's basically what it comes down to. I think that may be part of my problem, is that I'm choosing finances over my health, which, you know, I see both sides of that. I see where that's just ridiculous. And what do your finances matter if you're dead or disabled or stroke out or, you know, whatever. But then it's like, well, what's your happiness when you can't pay your mortgage? So that's the thing. Life is just full of impossible situations, or what seem like impossible situations. And, you know, the thing that keeps me going and gives me hope is the fact that while that may be true, I have, you know, like they say, I have the track record. I've made it through 100% of my impossible situations. So I'll make it through this. It's just a matter of how, because I'm very interested in healthy ways to make it out of this funk, and not making the funk deeper, which is what I did for years. I actually, for years, well, I still had the tumor, of course, so I use that as my excuse. But for years, I used alcohol. I abused alcohol. I used it as my escape. I used it as my way to solve my problems. I got pretty heavy into alcohol towards the end of my marriage with my kid's dad. It was my way of fixing the problem temporarily instead of fixing the problem permanently. And so, you know, now alcohol's not the thing. I barely drink. And even when I go on what I would call a bender, where I like have beer on a Saturday night, 2 weekends in a row, or 3 weekends in a row, even, you know, and when I say have beer, I mean have 3 or 4. So alcohol is no longer the problem. That's not a deal. I actually now use alcohol the way it's meant to be used, as a delicious beverage that I enjoy at the end of a long, hard day. That's it. I don't need it. I don't ever think, oh, it's been a rough week, I just want to get drunk. I don't ever think that anymore. So, you know, that's good. But what I do instead is I don't think about it at all. I just look up, and all of a sudden I've been scrolling on TikTok for 2 hours, or playing on the Xbox. I play Minecraft. I play on the Xbox. And I've always done that ever since the boys got into it years and years and years ago when they were little. I played with them, and as an adult, I've kept that as kind of a hobby. I don't know if you call it a hobby, but I play Minecraft sometimes. But I'll do that, and I'll look up, and I'll be like, holy Macarena, I've been building this world for 4 hours, right? Instead of going outside and shooting something for YouTube, or reading a book, or journaling, or doing any other productive thing that would actually bring me benefit. So, you know, I still have issues, and I don't even know where I'm going necessarily, except for the fact that If anything, I may find that this YouTube channel turns out to be the place where I'm able to vent and process. So when I need to process emotion, I cannot do it in my head. I have to do it out loud. I have to talk. Otherwise, it doesn't function. Like, my brain doesn't function that way at all. I got to hear it. It's got to be audible. So it's one of the reasons why I like Audible books, books on tape or whatever you want to call it, better than reading now. I used to love to read. I used to knock out books like crazy. And now I knock them out by listening to them. And I actually get more out of it that way. So, but when I process out loud, like I'm doing right now, keeping my hands busy, I'm trying to mess with these San Marzano tomatoes, but I'm also kind of going through this whole thing that I could journal and go back and read it. But to be honest, for it to be effective, I would have to go back and read it out loud. And so I'm just verbally journaling right now. You guys are coming along with me. And another reason why I like this idea of what I'm doing right now, where I'm just kind of talking and doing, is I know good and well that attention spans are shorter now than they've ever been, not just for children, though it's definitely true for children and teens. I know the same thing is true for adults, because I find myself, it's funny that I'm kind of using this method, because I very often, when I'm watching videos and people don't get to the dang point, I just scroll. I like, nope, not doing it. So to me, it's ironic or hypocritical. I don't know which one, or both, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And with the expectation that somebody would listen to all of this rambling, find some value in it, or find some resonation, like where it would resonate with them, and they would be like, yeah, okay, that ramble totally makes sense. I get it. I totally feel that way too. I'm with you, sister. But at the end of the day, that's my actual hope, right? Like, I love teaching. I've always said, I tried to get a job one time when I was teaching. I tried to get a different job, a different position. And my reasoning when they were like, why would you want to move into this position? And literally what I said, and it was the truth, was I like to be the person with all the answers. I like to be the person that other people come to for answers. And when I don't have the answer, I like to be the one that can say, I don't know, but I am going to find out for you, and then do whatever it takes to find out and bring that person the answer they need. That is so satisfying to me. That is where I feel valuable and useful, and I love it. And so I guess at the end of the day, the whole point in the YouTube thing, the whole point in this, it wasn't that I want to be a star, or I want to be one of these people that goes viral and all of a sudden is all over the place and has 15 minutes of fame. It's that I wanted to find people that could take the things that I've learned and I've experienced and synthesize that stuff for themselves and apply it to their lives and get benefit from it. That's what I want. I want all of the shit I have been through. And I know I'm not alone here. I know everybody's been through some shit. But I want all of my specific, unique shit to be beneficial to other people. I want it to be for a purpose beyond myself, right? Because I know that everything I've gone through has helped me. Even though I'm sitting here talking about being in a funk and struggling, I'm still, much better off than I have been in other times in my life. So it's all I want, right? My intentions are, it's almost like they're pure and other serving, but at the same time, they really are self-serving, because I feel the best when I'm providing value to other people. So there, here I am, rambling in hopes of providing value.